always at the stick. From who's got it better than us to brick by brick. It's always the 49ers way, from off-season to game day. Yeah, we talk back. It's the 49ers Cutback.
It's 49ers Cutback Podcast time. It is the game recap show. 49ers versus Cardinals. 49ers suffered an unfortunate loss. They had some mishaps, weren't able to execute when they needed to, and they lost to a very, very good Arizona team who was stricken by injuries. It was a tough loss, Alex.
True, but this is the difference, right? This is
The Donnie difference.
The Donnie difference, indeed. This is the difference between a team right now that's struggling to recapture their identity from 2019 and a team that's found the formula to have success and to try and make a deep run. The Cardinals have done that indeed. But let's hit the graphic. Let's get into this. And look, we got to start off with the fact, Ant, that this was a team that was depleted by injuries in the Arizona Cardinals. I mean, that's the reality situation. This is an opportunity for the 49ers to get themselves off to a 400 or 500 situation here, put themselves at 0-0 essentially through this last portion of the season as you try and make that push towards playoff. And instead, you let one slip away against a team that was depleted, that really was just trying to find a way. They're just trying to survive right now. The Arizona's trying to survive until they get healthy. And you let one get away that you can't let get away. It's been a common theme all year. And offensively, it didn't help with turnovers and mishaps with the front line and McGlinchey going down.
Yeah, that was really big. I mean, it really was, because once McGlinchey was out, and I don't remember exactly when he went out, but the one thing I'll say is when I noticed Tom Compton was over there at right tackle, it wasn't a good situation. And it definitely wasn't a good situation watching Daniel Brunskill try to block one-on-one either. It should have been an advantage for the 49ers, no J.J. Watt. Daniel Brunskill should have been able to handle the guys that were in front of him. He was not. And this has been a common theme throughout the season so far, as Daniel Brunskill struggled at times. And he struggled again today. When he's not getting help from Mike McGlinchey, he's not getting help from Alex Mack, he just doesn't have the lateral quickness. And I didn't think this was going to be a problem as a guy who played, tackle before and played tackle pretty well. A guy that's able to handle Aaron Donald at times. But he didn't look good. And Tom Compton didn't look good either. The 49ers, Kyle Shanahan said that Galen Moore hasn't been practicing on the right side. He's only been practicing on the left side. And he's not comfortable playing on the right side. You know what they might want to do if Mike McGlinchey's going to be out for a while? Get him comfortable with playing on the right side. Because you're going to be in trouble if you go into another game with Tom Compton as the right tackle. They're going to be able to take advantage of it, especially Von Miller. This Rams defense is going to be all over it. But that was a real weakness in this game for the 49ers, was offensive line play. It didn't give Jimmy Garoppolo the time that he needs. Jimmy Garoppolo, I know this is going to shock some people, is a pocket passer. So he needs a clean pocket to be able to throw the football. He has been moving inside the pocket very well. He's even been getting outside the pocket, moving away from it. There is a play in this game where Daniel Brunskill gets walked into him. They make contact, and he still completes the pass down the field. I know it's not a big gain, but you're picking up 7-8 yards on a play where a offensive lineman just got walked into you. That's impressive concentration. That is a quarterback trying to win from the pocket. It wasn't a Jimmy Garoppolo issue in this game.
No.
This was a guys around him failing to execute the full play. Just like with the two fumbles. It's just failures to execute, and a lot of it started with the offensive.
You're not wrong, man. It truly does. It starts up front. We keep talking about this, right? For the 49ers to have success, it starts with this offensive line. That's why you made the move for Trent Williams. That's why you brought in Alex Mack. That's why we thought they drafted Aaron Banks for the right guard spot, but it hasn't turned out that way for the 49ers. And so you're sitting there having to rely on Daniel Brunskill to show the flashes that we've seen against guys like Aaron Donald. One of the better interior pass rushers, run stoppers in all of football. And, Brunskill's won some of those matchups. The first start he had in the 2020 campaign where he just studded up Aaron Donald. And for 4 quarters, it was like, oh, well, hi, hey there, guy. Nice to meet you. I'm glad you're on this football team, especially when we got Aaron Donald to go up against. So it's just frustrating. It truly is. It's just the lack of consistency there, and it's a problem that's plagued this whole team. Consistency just hasn't been there. Whether it's drops from Debo at times out in space, Sanu with drops at times in space. Kittle had a drop today that was big as well on a drive. The fumble from Kittle doesn't help. Ayuk goes up and makes an absolutely incredible catch.
Great catch.
Tries to get up and do just a little bit extra, doesn't secure the football, and someone comes in from Arizona, punches the ball out. these are just plays where guys are trying to make things happen for San Francisco. Things in the past where guys made those types of plays, and things worked out, right? Think back to the Saints and George Kittle, the big play there. That's George Kittle just trying to make a play after the catch. We've seen these guys make those types of plays before. It's just this year they're pressing a little bit more than they have in years past, and that's because the team's been struggling. Kittle's been out for a while. Kittle comes back in and is trying to have an impact early in the game, and he ends up not securing the football, making a great play, and it ends up costing San Francisco when you're in positive field position in Arizona, in Arizona territory at the 40-yard line. Those things aren't great. The defense not being able to get off the field on the third downs also subsequently after that doesn't make it any easier, right? Because you're just now compounding problems. Taking a problem in George Kittle's fumble and making it worse by not being able to get off the field on 3rd and 8s, 3rd and 5s, just makes it worse. But despite all of that, despite all of the mounting problems that were going on offensively, not being able to sustain drives, continue drives, penalties at the wrong time, putting yourself in worse situations, Jimmy Garoppolo continued to deliver time and time again, all game long, up until the very end of the game, where he's trying to make plays for his football team, expecting guys to be playing soft zone coverage, and instead they're being very aggressive, cut up in space and making a pick there for Mr. Budda Baker. Good on him for picking the right moment in time to make that play. I don't put that on Jimmy at all. Jimmy played absolutely phenomenal. Back-to-back 300-plus yard games, back-to-back games of the old Jimmy Garoppolo, the aura shining through. It's now up to everyone else to get themselves up to the level. It's time to start elevating up around him. Brandon Ayuk has definitely responded to this new version of Jimmy Garoppolo the last few weeks. We've started to see a reemergence of Jimmy Garoppolo. Even though Kittle had the fumble today, he played phenomenal, one of his best games as a receiver for the 49ers this season, but you could also tell how much we missed his impact in the run game.
Jimmy Garoppolo looks different than even week 2 of the season.
Correct.
He looks more comfortable going outside the numbers. He looks more comfortable going down the sideline, throwing back shoulder throws, redirecting George Kittle on where to be, and getting the football out. He took chances in the back of the end zone to Brandon Ayuk. Touchdown to Brandon Ayuk was a chance. Threw it into double coverage and expected his guy to go get the catch. He did. Later in the game, he's trying to get away. He gets away from one guy, rolls around, throws the ball up. He's trying to put it in a situation where Ayuk can get it. He throws it a little high. Jimmy's trying to make plays happen, and he executed at a pretty high level in this game. And I'm not going to put the pick. I don't really care about the pick. That's garbage time. They're trying to score. They're trying to get down the field. They're trying to do it in a hurry because they don't have any timeouts left. The game has been exhausted because they're not able to get off the field on 3rd down on the drive and be able to stop, and they have to use all their timeouts. The pick was insignificant in that football game.
It has no impact on the score, right. No nothing.
No, it doesn't. I mean, did he throw the pick? Yeah. Did he miss the guy? Yeah. Did he make a mistake?
Yeah.
And in the same regard, it had nothing to do with the football loss. So I'm not really going to worry about it. It's like if someone would have fumbled right there, I'd been like, okay, well, the game was pretty much over anyways.
The other 2 fumbles were more important than that fumble. 100%. The other 2 turnovers were more important than that.
I think George
pick.
Kittle's was important as far as momentum, and Brandon Ayuk was one where it felt like the 49ers were getting it going, right? You had just marched down the field 65 yards in 5 plays. Oh, that's good offensive play calling. That's good execution. And then it's Brandon Ayuk making a fantastic play, like you said, just trying to do something to help his team win, trying to get up, wasn't touched, and make something happen. And he got the ball punched out. Great play by the Arizona player.
You know what I don't expect to ever happen again, Ant? Brandon Ayuk to get the ball punched out after making a great catch and trying to get up to his feet and make a play.
Yeah, but you know what? Debo Samuel's had fumble problems a couple times this year.
But what have we not seen from Debo up till this year? Fumble problems. We haven't seen that from Debo Samuel.
True.
What have we not seen from Brandon Ayuk? Fumble problems. These are all new issues for the 49ers. It's just all happening at the worst time.
Well, it's also the increase on the punch, right? I mean, these players are punching at the football more than ever before. That's like, I mean, George Kittle let it get away from his body on the hurdle, right? It's a natural reaction to lift your arm as you're hurdling over someone, and that separation was enough to knock the ball out.
As he was hurdling and put the ball out in space, I could hear Coach Collins echo from millions of miles away, "Tuck the ball away!" And then I saw an image of him sprinting down the sideline, hurdling over a player who had been pancaked into the ground as he chased George Kittle across the field during a 7-on-7 drill at Delta College. It was absolutely what a hysterical and very fond memory of my playing days was this man and that my coach. And the point of emphasis on protecting the football out in space as a ball carrier wasn't more apparent than today with what happened. But it's just unfortunate because Kittle's making a great play at the time.
Yeah, he is. And those two turnovers were huge. And the 49ers had opportunities to get the football back. You have the one where the ball gets put on the ground and Fred Warner's not able to get it. You had the one where the guy kind of fumbles the punt a little bit, and then they're not able to get the ball out. You know, it comes out late. Those were opportunities for them to be able to make something happen.
Arden Key's sack, where he actually does hit the ball. He hits the ball, and the ball starts to squirt out, and Colt McCoy's able to pinch it a little bit, re-secure the ball as he's getting taken to the ground. This has been a common theme for the 49ers all year, man.
Yeah.
They get close. They get close to getting the football back in terms of turnovers and just don't put the nail in the coffin.
And don't you think Arden Key's been a bright spot since they've kind of moved him more to the interior?
Absolutely.
Where he's been getting more snaps. He seems to be way more explosive. I like that move overall, so I'm curious how he develops because I was worried about him sliding to the insides, but he's showing that he has plenty of strength. It might actually be a positive move for them is having him play in there because Armstead's been playing well as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm curious how this develops the rest of the year with Arden Key.
I definitely want to see how that develops the rest of the year with Arden Key. It's going to be interesting, but we had key matchups offensively that didn't help with a lot of these offensive struggles. Let's start with yours. What did you have?
I had Jimmy versus Jimmy G. And the reason I'm saying that is the generic version of Jimmy that, was the guy that would just, complete, enough passes to go, 12 of 16 for 170 yards. But what we're getting, we've been getting Jimmy G. He's a G. That's what we've got the last 2 weeks. He's out there pointing where George Kittle needs to go. He's rolling out. He's taking charge. He's getting the ball outside the numbers.
Escaping huge potential sacks from Budda Baker or Byron Murphy off the edge.
Oh, 100%. Did he get sacked? Yeah, but a lot of the times that's because he has someone coming in his face before he can even react. Newsflash to a lot of people. Even Trey Lance would have got sacked on a couple of those. There's just no way out of it. Steve Young would have got sacked on a couple. There's just no way out of it. And Jimmy did a pretty good job. And does Jimmy take sacks? Yeah, he's a pocket passer. He's not going to get out and do things with his feet. He's not Aaron Rodgers who can throw tremendously on the run with a crazy arm. That's not what he does. But what I like is the competitiveness was there. There's one play where he gets sacked, and Sherfield comes back to the huddle, and he rips Sherfield a new one. And Sherfield's looking at him like, and they got enough on it, and you can see Jimmy's face, and he's pissed off. Jimmy G's the leader right now, and he's saying, look, you get to your spot, and you be where you're supposed to be, and if you're not, you're going to hear about it. And that's the Jimmy that's there right now. It's a Jimmy G. The team did not rise to the occasion to, play up to the level that Jimmy played in this game, but Jimmy's not the reason they lost.
Not even close. Your key matchup, this is a win. And you and I both thought that if that was a win, you're looking at a 49ers win. And that's the true belief. And my offense key matchup was supposed to help Jimmy become Jimmy G, right? Help him stay that way. And it was Micah McGlinchey, right? Versus Golden and Jones. That wasn't a win. It wasn't because McGlinchey gave up some sacks. I think it was 5 total for the game.
Well, he didn't play that much.
Also, true, McGlinchey didn't play that much, but when McGlinchey was in, I know he gave up one for sure to I believe, Chandler Jones. Chandler Jones beat him on an interior move and got his sack to become the all-time sack leader for the Arizona Cardinals. So I guess
whoop-de-doo.
Congratulations on that, Basil. Congratulations. But this wasn't a win because McGlinchey does go down and Tom Compton goes in and Tom Compton loses and Daniel Brunskill loses consistently all game long, whether there's help or whether there's no help. This was not a good showing from Daniel Brunskill at all whatsoever. He played better against J.J. Watt, in all honesty, than what he'd showed today. It was not a good Daniel Brunskill day. It was not a good Daniel Brunskill performance. And these types of games, especially leading into the Rams game, are the kind of games that make Kyle Shanahan and the coaching staff, they're going back to the drawing board and looking at Aaron Banks and going, hey, maybe we're getting close to time. This being this dude's opportunity to step in and try and do something, because these types of games don't make it easy for you to get the run game going. It doesn't make it easy for you to get the pass game going. And he was giving up big sacks on first downs, second downs that were putting us in negative game scripts and making it extremely hard on third down to try and get a first down and keep the drive going.
Yeah, well, it's situations where Daniel Brunskill gets one-on-one and he's going to struggle. I mean, that's the thing when it was J.J. Watt. They didn't put him in situations to be one-on-one.
Yeah.
They always gave him help. When you seen him one-on-one, it was like they went inside or they went outside, but they made him look kind of foolish at times. And that's unfortunate because I thought he was going to play better than that this year. And he hasn't turned out to be the player this year that we anticipated he was going to be after 2019 and 2020. We thought we were going to get a little bit of consistency at right guard until Aaron Banks was ready to take over. And we haven't got it. So we're waiting on it, or we haven't seen it. And I don't know if there's an improvement. I don't know if there's a way they can overcome Daniel Brunskill's struggles on the inside. Because it's not like they have, an absolute terror, next to him. Like Trent Williams on the other side, but you don't have another Trent Williams on the right. Let's see if McGlinchey's going to be out for a while. That's really going to destabilize this offensive line.
You have to think they're going to Jalen Moore.
No, I mean, they went to Tom Compton right now, so could it be Compton again? I mean, you don't even want to answer it, but
no, it doesn't. It can't be Tom Compton.
But
again.
you know it's the truth, right?
I know. That's the sad part. The sad part is that it can't be Tom Compton again, because you and I both know this. Cutback crew, faithful right now might be going, no. You can just put Jalen Moore over there. You just flip him from left to right and call it a day. It's fine. Rookie, trying to play your. We kept saying that maybe that he was the swing tackle, right? He's a rookie trying to learn the system, trying to understand how to play left tackle in football for this football team. You can't just flip him over to right tackle and everything's the same. Nothing's the same. Things change. It's an entirely different ball game at right tackle in Kyle Shanahan's system than it is at left tackle.
Yeah, and I mean, everything is different, right? Different foot forward, different foot back, the way you kick slide,
different technique,
how you strike with your hands, all that stuff. Everything is a little bit different. And then plays going your way. You gotta know when to pull. You gotta know leverage. There's a lot of differences that go into playing different sides of the offensive line. I've always talked about it's a little bit easier to flip on the interior than it is on the outside. You get put on an island out there. I mean, do we want Jalen Moore on an island against Von Miller? I don't know if that's a good scenario for us.
It's Tom Compton. A worse scenario is the question.
Good call. I don't know.
It's hard. It's hard to know, right?
I really don't. Yeah.
This is the thing that's really, really difficult. Is we can say till we're blue in the face, right? Jalen Moore, it can't do any worse than Tom Compton, so you go with Jalen Moore. The problem is, however, is like we said, technique. If he's not comfortable with technique, and let's say the first 3 pass snaps of the game, he gets absolutely destroyed by Von Miller, you have to think Tom Compton's going to win on maybe one of those, or not get beat as badly on one of those. So is it a better option for your football team? For Jalen Moore's long-term development, it may not be the worst thing in the world. It may not be the worst thing or the best thing in the world to put him out there against a Von Miller. But is it going to be the best thing for the team right now? That's the decision the coaching staff's weighing. That's the decision that's the most important decision.
I'll tell you what the most important decision is if you can get these guys spinach thing turned into Popeye. Because I'm really worried about them lining up Aaron Donald and Von Miller on the same side of the field against Brunskill and Tom Compton. It just sounds like an absolute dumpster fire situation. So yeah, I'm worried about it. It's like a train wreck. Terry Funk versus Mick Foley, Cactus Jack versus Chainsaw Charlie. It's just all bad. No one wants to see it. No one's happy about it. And it's unfortunate because if that situation happens, can we just move Trent Williams wherever they go? We're just gonna monster him.
Can you imagine that come out? Ready, you break. Jimmy, hold. Trent over here.
Yeah.
Trent over here. Jalen, get over there.
Yeah.
Tom, get over there.
Yeah, we're just gonna monster now because
Oh goodness.
I mean, it's a tough matchup.
Not easy, man. It's not easy. It's not a great situation for the 49ers. The O-line situation has always been a little bit of a question mark in terms of just the pieces you have and can they get it done. Brunskill's been a little bit all over the place early in the season, promising. Middle of the season, not as promising. Last week, not as terrible.
No.
Better.
Decent, yeah.
Better. All right, maybe he's making the next step. Nope. Back to no.
Well, he was going against an injured Hakeem Nicks.
Also true.
This week, I don't even know a lot of the guys he was going against, but they were handling him with lateral movement. And the question is, if they're handling him with lateral movement, how much farther away is Aaron Banks? Because he was getting handled with lateral.
He was getting handled hard in training camp.
The question is, if Banks isn't ready, is the real situation moving Jalen Moore to right guard? Is it time to just go ahead and pull the trigger on that and move him to right guard and give up on some of his development at left tackle? Or, because, you got Trent. The only reason I can think they're still training him at left tackle is they think he's the eventual replacement for Laken Thompson.
So you can just flip him into the interior on the left side.
Yeah.
That makes sense. It does make sense, Ant, but we're just going to have to wait to see. We're going to have to wait and see. It's the reality of the situation. Really no reason to know. The rest of this week is going to be very interesting with the O-line developments with McGlinchey at right tackle and whether or not he's healthy or not. But look, from these key matchups offensively, we got to get into these players, these straight beasts on offense that performed for the 49ers, because there was some guys that did some things that gave moments, right? Moments of hope for the 49ers and for the fan base throughout this game. Maybe it wasn't consistent. Maybe it didn't come as early as we wanted to, but they were there nonetheless. It's time to talk about our straight beasts. And for me, it has to go to one man that Ant already highlighted, a man that needed to go from the old milk toast Jimmy, vanilla Jimmy, the black and white Jimmy on the slide, to the aura, the Jimmy G that we all saw in 2017, who led the 49ers on massive wins after a terrible season, that got 5 straight for San Francisco, that was orchestrating this offense, played with confidence, a chip on his shoulder, back completely against the wall, nothing to lose, everything to prove. That Jimmy has showed out now for 2 straight games, 300 plus yards, couple of touchdowns, doing the things he needs to do to get this offense moving and going in the right direction. This Jimmy Garoppolo can help this team win. This is the Jimmy Garoppolo that we thought we were going to get all season long from week 1 till now. We didn't get it necessarily at the start. We thought maybe we were seeing glimpses of it in week 1. Quickly in week 2, it reverted, and then it got a little itchy there and sketchy down the stretch, but he's recaptured it. He's found it, Ant, and Jimmy Garoppolo is my straight beast player of the game. He had himself one heck of a day.
Yeah, good choice. 2 straight 300-yard games, and then, able to complete a good amount of passes. But it's never a good situation when your starting quarterback, especially Jimmy Garoppolo, has to throw over 30 passes in a game. Not a recipe for success, and it wasn't in this football game.
Nope.
But it does not take away from the things that he was able to do and the execution of the things he was able to do, because he did complete passes outside the numbers. He did complete passes down the field. He did complete passes over the middle. He did hit checkdowns. He did move people around with his eyes. He did move people around with his hands. And then get the ball into the end zone to George Kittle in a contested catch, and also a good one to Brandon Nyuk. So those were all great. And the reason that I bring up Brandon Nyuk is because that's who my straight beast is. Because, yes, Brandon Nyuk put the ball on the ground on the one fumble, but he also had the touchdown in double coverage. He also had a pretty good punt return in this game. And he was able to make plays, whether it was blocking for Deebo Samuel on the big screen, or if it was just making contested third down catches where he's getting absolutely mollywopped. You have the one where he gets hit, and he gets hit right in the kaniki, and he's out in the game. And, he was full out on the sideline, laid out. He was hurting very bad. And so you feel for him in those situations. That's when you need a cup, kid. But, yeah, he took a shot. But he came right back in and later had another big one where he got hit from behind, then hit from the front, and he held on the football. So I thought Brandon Ayuk's emergence is still there. Still going to ride the high of saying that this was going to happen, and it's exciting. But Brandon Ayuk's my straight beast.
Man, yeah, you did. You called it. You predicted it. You've been saying it. I'm glad you did. I've started him the last 2 weeks, and he's helped me with my fantasy team. So hats off to you, and I salute your way. But yeah, Brandon Ayuk's continual growth and slowly turning the corner is huge for this football team.
Right.
It really is. It helped out today in a big way. Especially later in this football game when we started to mount what looked like some momentum and then just couldn't get ourselves off the field at times in great situations. At some point, this team will figure out to stop shooting themselves in the foot. And when that is, though, I'm not going to put any money on it. I'm not going to put myself out on that ledge.
Yeah, they've consistently shot themselves in the foot. We haven't got consistent execution, but we have got consistent shots in the foot.
They know how to do that in a variety of different ways, too. It's not the same way.
No.
It's not the same way. It's different ways to shoot ourselves in the foot.
Unfortunately, the saying is bad teams find a way to lose. Right now, the 49ers are finding a way to lose.
Yeah,
right. They need to flip this around if they're going to be a winning football team. And I think that they want to move in the positive direction. They don't have a first-round pick, so it's not like you want to lose out. Go out there and try to win as many football games as you can, no matter what's going on, and see what you can do.
That's all you can do at this point. That's really what it's about. It's not about playing for draft position. That's not important to this team right now. But look, defensively, though, it doesn't get any better. Right? Typically with one of these games, you usually talk about something. We'll start with like the offense and the struggles. Maybe the second half got better. Maybe the defense cleaned some stuff up. But this game, no, the defense played bad. Start to finish, the whole game. It wasn't great. Constant shooting yourselves in the foot on third down. Bad calls at the wrong time to extend drives. Just things that are not characteristic of the 49ers defense in terms of what we've seen, right? In the past, we've seen defensive pass interference calls extend drives. Now we're seeing a team that's completely playing soft and laying off and letting the ball get completed into the middle, letting them get the ball into playmakers' hands. And then guess what playmakers are doing? And they're making plays. What a surprise. I'm absolutely stunned by this. I said last week that I thought the game plan they implemented against the Chicago Bears was a flash in the pan, a one-off thing because you had a rookie quarterback and you knew you could probably get away with it, and you did. You escaped. You escaped by the hairs on your chinny chin. I did not think that they would come out and do it again, and they did, and it bit them in the butt. And Ant, they deserve it. They deserve it to happen.
Yeah, you can't do that. I mean, you can't consistently play off, and that's why my key matchup for this game was the Cards' weapons against the 49ers secondary with the emphasis on read one. Taking away the first read, making it difficult for Colt McCoy when he dropped back to decipher what was going on. And unfortunately, the 49ers can play consistently off, play consistently out of, where they were supposed to be when they brought blitzes. He attacked those red alerts, and there were opportunities for him to make plays. And he did, and he executed. And
he read Sedvin all over the field.
Oh, yeah, it was not a good situation for the 49ers. It was frustrating to watch for a second straight week. They have overcorrected with how they're handling the secondary. I don't like it. In the same way that I praised D'Amico Ryans for the game plans he was running early on in the season, I'm going to also give him a little bit of,
flack,
a little bit of criticism, and the fact that this is not something you can do consistently. I was hoping that you guys were right, and that it was all about just going against Justin Fields and that Bears offense. But I had a feeling that this was the way that they were going. They were going to try to win this way. It's not something that's sustainable, and that's why the Cardinals won this in a big way. Their weapons were able to handle business. Getting the hands into James Conner and mismatches and getting, little reverses to Christian Kirk where he can throw the ball down the field. It just seemed like everything was a little off for the 49ers secondary. They're not fitting well in this scheme. Josh Norman doesn't play well in this scheme. He needs to be playing press coverage. He doesn't play off. When he plays off and bails all the time, it's not good. And they were able to take advantage of this secondary today, and it's unfortunate. The 49ers need to change it up. They need to figure it out. We need the aggressive D'Amico Ryans, because when he had all of his pieces, he was aggressive. Now that he doesn't, he's trying to mask those, and it's actually highlighting them a little bit further. They're able to get shots down the field, and it's unfortunate.
It truly is. I was hoping, Ant, that I would be right. I really was. I was hoping I was right on this, and that this was a one-off thing where D'Amico was like, hey, we can take it a little bit easier. We don't have Azeez Al-Shaair. We're missing some pieces up front, and let's just play it safe a little bit. The problem is that, not only were you playing soft there, you didn't do well in your run fits. You had Azeez back this week, and your run fits still weren't that great, and they were able to get 93 yards of rushing. Or I think it was actually a little bit more than that, but at one point when I looked up, it was 93 yards of rushing for James Conner, and it's like, no. That's not good. You can't do that. You can't have that. You have to be able to slow down the run game. And with no Chase Edmonds out there, and with Colt McCoy running out there in space, you thought maybe there would be better run fits, but that may also come down to, and I think the film will tell us both a little bit more about it, but that may also come down to not having Jaquiski Tartt and Jimmy Ward out there, who have been phenomenal coming up against the run and filling in gaps and just helping the linebacking core play a little bit better out there in space. Also, Azeez Al-Shaair out in space covering James Conner or Ertz is not a great matchup for the 49ers right now. It's just not. He consistently hasn't won out there. But also, defensively, my key matchup was the running backs versus our linebacking core, and it was a big fat L. It didn't help at all the way we played. Fred Warner had some flashes today where he did make some tackles and stops on second downs and third downs to get the 49ers off the field. But again, the consistency wasn't there top to bottom. Azeez missed in coverage. You had guys missing out in coverage. You had times where you blitzed Talanoa Hufanga or K'Wan Williams off the edge with Tavon Wilson sitting over the top in coverage on third and shorts, third and mediums, having him trying to come down in space, and they had the right screen dialed up at the right time or the right little swing pass dialed up at the right time, and they were able to get their 4 yards and get out there. And it's just stuff that we typically haven't seen. D'Amico Ryans has been a guy on third downs who typically matches up and goes man across the board and brings the pressure. Last few weeks, not been the case.
Yeah, he changed it up, and it didn't work out for him. It was a big L. That's unfortunate. It really is. It's
an L for love.
The 49ers gotta try to figure this out, and they gotta figure it out in a hurry, because the Los Angeles Rams are on the docket.
Hey, I heard they have a pretty good offense.
Yeah, they have a pretty good defense too.
That's true. They're pretty good across the board. One of the better teams in the NFL.
Yeah.
We got to play them twice too. Oh boy. Oh, it's getting hot. It's getting hot in here, Ant.
We'll see what happens. We'll see if the Niners can hang in. If the Niners can hang in with those Rams, it's going to be a fun breakdown all week. Right now we're going to break down the game with the Cardinals, for the early part of the week. But when we get into the Rams breakdowns, oh Nelly, here we go.
Oh Nelly, indeed, Ant. Look, though, overall defense, they definitely got some things they're going to have to clean up. They definitely have some things that they need to address, and maybe some scheme fits and issues that they're going to have to sort out. Maybe the return of Trey Greenlaw will help with some of that. Ant, But we cannot skip over a few players, a few names for the 49ers that actually stepped up in a big way, and I definitely didn't make it harder for the 49ers defense to operate and execute. In fact, at times made it somewhat easy for the 49ers defense to operate and almost made some big plays that changed the tide of the game for the 49ers and put things in their favor. It's time for The Block is Hot.
Block is Hot defensive players of the week. I think we're going to share, these two guys.
Yeah.
But I'll talk about the first one is Eric Armstead. And my Well That's Bold this week was that Eric Armstead was going to have 2.5 sacks. He got absolutely robbed of 1 sack because of the penalty. It was a garbage, penalty. But he was in there and he was making his presence known. So I was feeling comfortable about, what he did. But I thought he played very well. And when him and Bosa on the same side right now, it's been problems. If they can get a little bit better production from the other side, and it looked like Key was coming on. So I'm wondering if they'll be able to play Key on the inside, on the opposite side of Armstead and actually see what they do there. But I thought that was really nice.
Amenahue, too, will be a nice addition once they get him into the lineup and see what that looks like with all those pieces out there. But you're not wrong, man. Eric Armstead has been playing great all season. The move inside hasn't slowed anything down. And in fact, today almost resulted in 2 big, huge sacks for him. So Eric Armstead is definitely thriving right now. The calls for Buckner over Armstead have started to go down a little bit, and now the only comment that's being made now is we just never should have imagine Buckner, Armstead, and Bosa still on the same team.
I got a question for you.
Okay.
Armstead playing base 4-3 defensive end is pretty good.
It is.
And he's been so good on the inside.
True.
Does he go from being like a top 20 defensive end to moving into defensive tackle and being top?
Possibly.
No, that's what I'm thinking. The way I watched him play the last couple weeks, to me, he looks like a top 10 defensive tackle in the NFL.
So this is what I've always thought in my head, that maybe you could make this move at some point. The problem was what do you do outside once you move him in?
It's still an issue.
It is. It's a question because you don't have that guy right now that you're like, yeah, no, we're set. No, we can easily do this. We got this guy out here. We're fine. No, you have Bosa. Ford can't play. If Ford could play consistently, I know that you lose some stuff in the run with him, but the speed is always going to be a problem.
100%.
It's always a problem.
He's actually good at setting the edge if his back is healthy.
Correct. But he's not. And he hasn't been healthy
he's definitely not.
Since 2019. So this is one of the things, right? You and I both know if you move him interior, you just create another hole on the outside right now, which is why you and I both believe that there's a lot of things they can address this offseason. They can address the cornerback room, and they're going to need to address the cornerback room. They're going to need to address the O-line to an extent. But the D-line is also an area that they could address. It's something that they could do going forward.
They got Amenahue. They got Jordan Willis, who played more snaps again. So I think he's going to keep developing into it. And I thought he did okay. I'm curious to watch the All-22 on him, in fact, and see how he handled it, because I thought he was getting involved a little bit in the run fits, coming down the line of scrimmage and stuff. So maybe
possibly
that's there.
Maybe you have a solution. Maybe.
Yeah, well, Kinlaw's also going to be coming back next year. Next year's next year.
Oh, he's a bust, bro.
Maybe. And maybe just going to bust out.
He's going to bust out every prime time year. Who knows? Hey, Kinlaw, get better. He just had, was it complete ACL reconstruction surgery?
Squirrel.
So, yeah, he's just chilling right now with squirrels, and he should be.
Full ACL reconstruction.
Full ACL reconstruction. That's a pretty serious knee injury he was playing through then.
Yeah, and they found, I guess they kind of had a feeling that there's maybe they started having a feeling something was extra going on. And when they got into it, sure enough, they found it. So they had a pretty good, a diagnosis of what was going on. So he was definitely not leading it on that there was something there. And it's not knee tendonitis. This was an actual problem to the ACL that I believe would have deteriorated until it tore. So they went in there and fixed it, and that's a good sign. When he gets back, he should be healthy and ready to go for 2020.
He's got a lot of time to recover, and we wish him a speedy recovery.
100%. Get
better, Javon Kinlaw, because we need you on this front. We miss you in the run fits, and I'm looking forward to seeing a healthy Javon Kinlaw develop as a pass rusher as well, especially if they decide to make the move and put Eric Armstead on the interior next to him for more time and more opportunities. That could spell a lot of problems for defenses. But from Eric Armstead comes Nick Bosa also, because Nick Bosa is continually a problem, and he is the other guy that is hot on the block for us in this defense this week. Whether it's sacks, whether it's pressures, getting in Colt McCoy's face, making him make tough throws, putting him into the ground, run fits, scraping down the line, and tackling guys in the backfield for 1 to no yard gains. Nick Bosa is just a problem week in and week out. You missed him desperately last season. Last season, not having Nick Bosa made a world of hurt for the 49ers. This season, he has constantly and consistently made plays to give our defense opportunities and force third downs. Last year, it didn't feel like we could get a team to third down. They just moved the ball willy-nilly, did whatever they wanted to until they got into the red zone, and then we would tighten up a little bit. This year, not so much. Teams are in third downs, third and mediums, third and longers more often than I've seen for the 49ers. The only difference has been we haven't been able to get off the field this year, but Nick Bosa is getting us to those opportunities, making quarterbacks get the ball out of their hands quick, and the 49ers just need to get better about taking away read one and being more assertive and knowing what to do with the hands, and if they can fix just a couple of things, the defense can start to play a little bit better clip and a better rate. But still, statistically, they're top 5 defense in the league. So, I mean,
Not
what can
after
you...
today's performance.
Nah, that's true. Today's performance drops them down the list a little.
This is what I say to D'Amico Ryans: be aggressive,
Be aggressive.
Yeah, I'd rather them be aggressive and have mistakes. With as far as penalties and stuff like that. You're just gonna sit back and let these guys pick you apart. These are NFL football players. They're gonna sit there and pick you apart. And it doesn't matter if it's Colt McCoy, who's a seasoned veteran, or Justin Fields, who's a rookie. They're gonna find opportunities when they don't have to come off read one. So you got to make sure they come off read one. The good news is we had a defensive line that was ready to get pressure on. The problem is the times that he didn't have the times that he didn't have the time and they were able to get after him. Sometimes he squirmed away. And then there was times where the defensive line just couldn't get there in time because he was able to get the ball out quick on read one. You have to be able to take away read 1 and 2. Hopefully that will be enough time for the defensive line to get home and get the sack. It all works together. These guys aren't going to go in there and just automatically get a sack because of the matchups that are there. They have to have time to be able to do their work. And Nick Bosa and Eric Armstead have been the most consistent defensive linemen on this team. And I believe Samson Ebicom and Arden Key are coming on.
Yeah,
Ebicom's been playing a lot better. He had a couple opportunities where he almost had sacks. Arden Key did have a sack.
He even got a big bear hug today.
Yeah,
that was incredible, man. I don't know what he said to 74 for the Cardinals, but I mean, something happened. He came off the inside, and 74 literally just full arms around him. I tweeted out on the cutback thing. I was like, man, he must have said something real nice to that guy, because that guy looked like he just never wanted to let him go. He looked like he was his favorite person in the whole wide world.
Baby, come back. Yeah.
Any kind of boo would see.
Yeah, I mean, there are situations like that, unfortunately, where those guys are going to get held. Welcome to playing 49ers defensive line. But the defensive linemen get held all the time. Joey Bosa gets held all the time.
Man,
Nick Bosa.
Joey had a bad one today, too. I felt bad for him.
Oh, yeah.
He got wrapped up pretty good again.
But I think you're right, though. In the offseason, the 49ers should look at moving Armstead inside, especially if DJ Jones does leave because of financial reasons. And then go ahead and picking up another defensive end to rush opposite of Nick Bosa, because we know D Ford can't consistently do it. Samson Ebicom will be in his second year with the 49ers, so they can count on him. But I would go ahead and get somebody else that could play defensive line. That's more like a Bosa. Go get someone that's a speed rusher off the edge and really put pressure on these other teams.
Make a trade?
Maybe.
Maybe we have things to talk about when we get closer to the offseason. But look, both of those guys have been playing lights out, and you're not wrong there. They've been two of them, not only more consistent guys on our football team, they've been two of the better pass rushers in all of football all season long, whether it's against the run, whether it's against the pass, putting pressures on quarterbacks. We finally saw the Armstead, I guess, technically turn the corner today and finally start to get those sacks that he's been getting close to getting. And let's just hope that this continues, because if it does continue and he's able to continue to play well on that interior there, that's going to make things easier for Bosa. It may help shore things up for Arden Key as well as Samson Ebicom, and giving them opportunities. And Samson Ebicom is going to have a very, very motivated week. Next week could be a breakout week for Samson Ebicom going up against his former team, the Los Angeles Rams.
Better be. We need some production from this defensive line. They're going to have to put pressure on Matthew Stafford. If not, Matthew Stafford's going to absolutely pick these guys up, carve them up. Like Razor Ramon said, it could be a real problem. So, yeah, the 49ers are going to have to get it done on the defensive line. The front seven hopefully will be strengthened with the return of Dre Greenlaw, which will put Alshire in a situation where he's only playing about 25% of the snaps. That is good for the 49ers. And then Dre Greenlaw is a much better tackler with a tackle rate that's even better than Fred Warner at under 4%. So it's very good for the 49ers. So this is a good situation. But we're going to have some question marks as well. Is it going to be Josh Norman? Is it going to be Drake Kirkpatrick? Is Josh Norman still going to be on this football team? And at what point is it Diameter Lenore? We don't know. But there are some questions there. I'm hoping that Jimmy Ward can come back. I know he's an outside chance to come back.
True.
We need him in the secondary. I'd feel more comfortable with Jimmy Ward there. He's a captain. He knows where to put everyone, but we're still another week away from the Quisky Tart. So
True.
It's getting scary. It's getting sketchy. We're getting to the point where the season is getting close to the brink, but I'm not ready to cash in yet because I still believe the 49ers have opportunities to make the playoffs. A lot of it with the fact that the NFC seems to be somewhat top heavy, and then everyone in the middle is kind of mucked up.
You're not wrong, and I want to say thank you to the Carolina Panthers for Panthersing it up against the New England Patriots. I want to say thank you, right, to the Atlanta Falcons and the Saints for beating each other up. The Saints look like they're primed to now slide. Just completely slide with Trevor Siemian there at quarterback. It doesn't even look like they want to put Taysom Hill in. And I don't necessarily blame them for wanting to do that, but also the fact that the Saints were never able to really pull away in that the Falcons were never able to really pull away from that team in that football game. The Minnesota Vikings for blowing a 21-point lead against the Baltimore Ravens. All of these teams are doing a great job of keeping the 49ers completely in the conversation for the playoffs. But you also got to remember the Seattle Seahawks are sitting here in the same boat the 49ers are in with a healthy Russell Wilson coming back. So by no means is the path to playoffs easy. And by no means is it a straight, clean shot. But it exists. It's still there. It's not over yet. But we have made it significantly harder on ourselves.
Yeah. No, yeah. I mean, there's no other way to say it. But yeah, we've made it more difficult. This was a game that was pivotal. At 4-4, I think the 49ers would have controlled their fate coming out of this. You know, it would have been like one of those things: you win more games than you lose, and you're going to make the playoffs. They lost, and now they're in a bad situation. They got their backs against the wall again. Let's see if they can respond. They responded against Chicago. They did not respond against Arizona. Can they respond again? Jimmy Garoppolo's responded. So now the rest of the team needs to pick it up. But yeah, more reinforcements. Hopefully Jeff Wilson's able to run against the Rams.
Actually run and not just be active.
Actually run. So it'll be interesting to see how they attack it. George Kittle will be 1 week better. Hopefully Deebo Samuel's 1 week better. So here we go, Alex. Here we go
Indeed, you're not wrong. This week is a big week. It's a huge week. Every week essentially has been a huge week since about week 4. Since they started losing their losing streak and losing more games than they've been winning. 49ers definitely need to get it turned around in a big way, but we want to hear from you, Cutback Crew and the faithful. What are you feeling? Is the season just over? It's time to play the young guys. I can't believe they're not playing Sermon. They need to play him. Put Banks in. Get Ambry Thomas on the field. Get Diamond Lenore on the field. Get Trey Lance going. It's time. Move on from the rest of these guys. Pack it up for the season, or there's still an outside chance. Playoffs are not completely out of reach yet. We just got to get some things fixed, but it's not going to be easy against this Los Angeles Rams team. We want to hear from you in the comment section down below right now. So make sure you comment, make sure you like, subscribe if you haven't already, hit that notification bell. And if you missed 49ers Face-Off this morning, go back over and watch that right now, right this minute. Just click back. Actually, you know what? At the end of this video, the card's going to pop up to take you right back to 49ers Face-Off. Just stick around. Stick around till the outro rolls and finishes. You'll get to see Face-Off, all the crazy nonsensical things that Jay Hill had to say, the wonderful conversation, discussion, and probably spicy arguments that took place. I don't want to spoil anything for you, but there's a good chance there was a lot of spicy conversation.
Spicy and tangy is the way it usually sounds. But yeah, it's going to be an exciting conversation to watch. So if you haven't seen it already, go over and check it out. It's exciting. 49ers Face-Off is one of those ones that you will be entertained watching. It's very passionate, very spirited. So check it out if you have the opportunity. And yeah, I'm curious what people think. You know, have you reached the point now where you're completely on board with, closing the whole thing down? Or are you still in a wait and see? You're like, I still want to give my team a little bit of time, see if they can get it done. I'm curious what everyone thinks.
Absolutely. We want to hear from you, Cutback Crew, so let us know in the comment section down below. And until the next one, stay safe.
Remember, the right way
is always the 49ers way.